Today, I wanted to talk about the myth of talent because I always felt trapped in the same cycle. Every time I wanted to achieve a goal, I would unconsciously run into the same issues over and over again. And this problem was that I was always avoiding certain things because I just thought I wasn't made for them, when those exact same things were actually a part of the process and they were necessary to grow. But somehow, I just thought I could pick and choose. All the things that were hard for me, that were not natural, that were not familiar, I would just leave it aside, hoping it would fix itself in some ways. I feel like we're constantly told that we are meant for certain things based on our natural abilities, but too much, so much that we forgot about our weaknesses. Because now, if we're naturally bad at something, spending time on it feels like a waste of time when we could focus on our strengths. So, like most people, I stuck to my natural ability, if they're even that natural, and because of that, I felt like I was never growing. It felt like I was trying to fill an already filled water bottle over and over, and there was another bottle sitting over there just being dry and empty, and I would just say that it belonged to someone else because it wasn't meant for me. It was too hard, so I would never actually acknowledge it. And this is actually what the theory of constraint explain. You can keep improving what's already been working forever, but eventually you will get stuck because your biggest limitation is somewhere else. So whether talent is natural or not, which we will come back to later, if you want to succeed, you have to be uncomfortable at some point. You have to be a beginner again, and I'm sure you're seeing that on YouTube. But your focus shouldn't be, am I made for this or not? Because if it's part of the process, your question should actually be, how can I teach myself to be better at it? Because of course there are things that will come naturally to you because of many factors. It's not random when you feel like you're comfortable at doing something. Your strength or your foundation, and you should not ignore them. But because of that, because they work for you so effortlessly, you should use them wisely. Because if you're afraid that they will disappear after 10 minutes because you stopped focusing on them and you started looking at the other side, you're completely wrong. For years, you've been training them so they are internalized. Meanwhile, all your weaknesses, all the things you were scared to face, they need time and energy because you haven't mastered them yet. Your strength have been here for years, so they're not gonna disappear like this. They are kind of fed automatically by what you're doing on a daily basis. But giving more space to new things will actually give you more opportunities in some areas you would never expect. But talking about strength and gift and natural abilities, what you call a gift is actually just a comfort loop. You do something safe, you get good at it, you repeat it, and then eventually you call it a gift. But when you do something uncomfortable, something that is just slightly outside of your current set of skills, you hate the feeling, so you stop. And then 20 years later, you tell people, I was never good at this. And we think that because it's easier to believe in magic than actually believing in thousands and thousands of invisible hours of practice. And it's not just practice, it's environment, it's your system you lived in, and many conditions. Because that's actually what talent is. It's compounded action from an early age that make it look automatic. You were so young that you did not realize that your interest, your environment, your repeated exposure, your aptitudes, which are factors in the brain that will tell you how you can achieve something and not if you, all of that made you think you had a talent. It was here in your genes before you even get. Now I have a question and I want you to tell me, what do you believe in the most? Are my actions the results of who I am, or are my actions a tool to decide who I'm becoming? They can sound identical, but they're completely different. The first actually describes a fixed loop. You think your identity is a finished product already, as if your actions have already proven who you are today, and now it's too late to change. But if you chose the second one, it means that you have unlocked an internal locus of control. You realize that identity is a construction project, and what you are doing today, your actions of today, they are building the you of tomorrow. And you're not controlled by your identity and your personality, you actually control it. And you can choose any side you want, but I highly recommend to choose the second one. Because the first one, to me personally, is just used as an excuse to avoid future friction and to actually let your past dictate your future. And I'm sure you've heard about the growth mindset, and it basically means that people succeed more when they actively seek challenges and when they see failure as a feedback, for example. And basically just like that, they're not scared of failing, they're actually just enjoying the journey. But if you haven't mastered this yet, it's okay, because we are humans and we are made to protect ourselves from danger and discomfort. So naturally we all avoid friction, and especially when so many systems in our society made it shameful to try new things or to not specialize into one single thing. But just to make it quick, there is so many reasons of why we are here today. So society uses early standardized tests on children. They track us just to sort us because sorting people into fixed boxes is actually easier to manage. From a young age, we are conditioned to let go of a skill if we feel like it doesn't come to us naturally. And then, there's division of labor that fed into capitalism and productivity. We are constantly expected to be efficient economically. So when you spend time on something you're mediocre at, it's often seen as a waste of money, of time, of energy, of resources. And so somewhere along the way, I'm pretty sure we started to confuse the joy of experience with the pressure of optimizing everything. So now that we understood how it works and that you are not naturally talented, what I choose for myself and what I recommend to do to everyone is to actually recreate talent, but consciously this time. When you were a kid, it was on autopilot, so you didn't know what was actually happening. It was shaped and controlled by your parents, by school, by so many things you could not understand at an early age. But now what's good is that you're an adult and you can take fully control of it. So you can actually create talent in your own terms. So the formula is that you need to understand your aptitudes. You need to learn about yourself. You need to learn about how you learn. You need to understand how your brain actually likes to work. So when you're trying something you're not used to, you can find the easiest way and the easiest path to it. Then we talked about the avoidance loop. When something is hard, you just give up because it's uncomfortable. Well, now that you are aware of it, you know that it's hard for everyone. Every single person you admire, every celebrities, every CEOs, it was hard for them at the beginning. So make it conscious. Push through the 20, 50, 100 and more hours of work that feels hard, even when they feel awkward, humiliating, embarrassing, and frustrating. Because one day it will just be a skill of yours. When it comes to the mindset, you need to take full accountability. Your future is in your hands. And I know we like to not want to believe it because, of course, we are never the only factor of anything, but try to make yourself the biggest factor so you can control it. When something bad happens to you, make it an information. And obviously, I talked about interest earlier. You need to be curious. If something sparked your interest, it came into your mind and you have a weird obsession over it, but you just think it's not meant for you, just go chase it. Even if it's outside your lane, just spend time chasing it and then repeat the process over and over again. This video isn't here to convince you to do something you hate, so this is to get out of the box that you created for yourself, that this world created for yourself. So use those advices for things that will really make you happy, for all the things that got your attention and that you just rejected because you thought you were not good enough at it. And there's so many things I'm trying right now that are new and I feel stupid sometimes, but I'm promising to myself that I will not give up just because it's hard. I will only stop if I'm not interested anymore, because I know that if I want to be natural at something, I have to repeat the hardness. So do not worry, nobody's truly very talented. It's just some factors that were aligned and that felt quite natural. But being conscious of it right now doesn't make it impossible anymore. Now you know that you are in charge of it. You are in charge of what talent you can get, and it's wonderful. Honestly, you can think of any skill, of everything, of anything that interested you in this world, and you can go towards it because you know that you can master it after enough practice. But you just need to tell yourself that it's gonna be hard, that it needs many factors and needs to align, but it's not impossible, and then one day it will become a part of you.